Hello, I'm Neil, I'm the owner of Camos-UK and we are the UK's premier supplier of 360 camera systems, and we're really excited to show you our latest 1080p system on this motorhome. This is the latest 4th generation Omni-View system from Camos, and it's a marked, noticeable improvement from the previous 360 systems. The 2 megapixel 1080p cameras really do make a difference. We also now take a photograph of the roof, so it's a photograph of your motorhome or caravan on the left hand side of the screen, so it really does look like there's a drone above your motorhome, but it's just the 4 cameras in real time with the images stitched together as previous systems. So we're just coming up to a junction and we'll be turning right, and as we hit the indicator the camera changes so you can see if there's anything in your right blind spot. At a T-junction that's not so important, but if you were changing lane on a motorway that'd be more helpful. You can actually see the opposite camera as well, so if you're at a T-junction and you're on your own and you want to see what's coming from the left, you can change to the left-hand camera. So we're just coming into Tesco's. As motorhomes, you'll know that going shopping on your motorhome isn't always the best experience, but with Omni-View, with a 360 camera system, it certainly helps parking, and we'll do that now and show you the difference parking your motorhome with a all-round visibility, even when you're on your own. We'll park between 2 cars. We've got guidelines and they just set what you want them to be set at, but we set them at the wing mirror width. So if the guidelines go through, you know your wing mirror is going to go through. So it just makes everything a little bit less stressful. You don't necessarily need to get out. Your partner doesn't need to get out to watch your back. You can see the red line there is about 50 centimetres, so we can get right up to the line. We're sticking out, so clearly with this, it's a 7.3 motor and we're sticking out, so this is not ideal space, but just to show you, we can actually go right the way back and take up 2 spaces, as you probably would do in a larger motorhome, and we could probably just make it so the van driver can get his door open still, but we can go forward actually a little bit there. So, yeah. So there you go. I mean, that was really straightforward and easy, no stress whatsoever, and the driver can get his door open, we can get our doors open, so it makes parking in a supermarket much easier. So that's full screen reversing if you don't want to see top view, and then the final reversing view is a 3D view. So again, it makes reversing into a car parking space safer, easier. You can use your mirrors, I'm not saying don't use your mirrors, but using the 3D view or the 2D view, you can see all around the motorhome, so you don't need to keep looking into your mirrors. And as we're 7.3 metres long, we are going to reverse back into the space behind this space, but not far enough so the van can't open its door. So there we go, that's the 3D reversing view, and we can just set a simple button press and you're back to the 2D reversing view or the full. So that's the stressful parking in a car park, less stressful with a 360 system using 2D mode or 3D mode, whichever you prefer. You can see all around and get into a space really quickly and easily. So we're going to go all the way around this roundabout, and at the moment we can see behind in the 360 view and to the left in the 360 view, and the right hand camera, because we're turning right, it's showing the right hand side of the vehicle. So we can see this roundabout, I'm actually in the inside lane, but on some roundabouts in a motorhome you might be turning right in the outside lane, and you can then see if there's a car that come up your inside or anything's come up your inside, so it's really helpful. And then when you get to the exit point, as you'll see in a second, you can see if anybody's in your blind spot when you come to turn left. So there's nobody there. I'm quite safe to change lane if I need to, or to go straight on. We're turning right from this lane, which is the middle lane on a roundabout, but we're turning right, so cars are potentially and probably going to come up our inside, which is fine. There is 2 lanes all the way around to the right turn, but it's just nice to know whether there is a car on your inside in your blind spot of your wing mirror. So we're just coming off the roundabout now, left-hand lane, and on a roundabout where there's no traffic lights, it's really good that you can see when you're changing lane on a roundabout that cars haven't got impatient and have come to your inside. So it's very helpful, roundabouts. And now we're going to come down this single lane slip road onto a dual carriageway, and we're going to indicate right, and we'll be able to see, you can see the right camera there, it's looking back into the traffic, so we can see, again, there's nothing in our blind spot. We can see long distance in the wing mirror, and then the right hand camera we can see it's safe to change lane, there's nobody in our blind spot. The camera is just like having a rear view mirror, so if your motorhome is mirrorless, or you've got a mirror but you've got a back wall or a back bathroom, this replicates your rear view mirror, so it is mirror image, so it's just as natural as looking in your rear view mirror. You can see what's behind you, and the added advantage with the 360 is you can see what's coming up your inside or your outside. The reason cars coming up on our inside now is because there's a left-hand filter lane, so the van that's just gone past on the left, it's turning left. You can see now the lines have changed, and that lane is to turn left, we're going straight on. And this is the driving view. You can actually manually change the driving view to any of the cameras. So if you did want to see the left, the right, or the front camera for whatever reason, not so likely when you're driving at this speed on a dual carriageway, but if you're slow speed manoeuvring on a campsite or in a car park, you can manually select the individual cameras, although you've always got them anyway on the 360 view, the top view. So we're just simulating lining up the grey waste marker, which is the grey line just above the middle solar panel on the left hand side. So the blue waste, if we needed to empty that, we're perfectly lined up. I know we are, because we put the marker on with a marker on the ground. So we mark your waste marker on the roof with something on the ground, so we know the roof marker is perfectly aligned with your waste marker. So that's the blue waste, the fresh waste, and then I'm just going to nip forward, and that's the grey waste. So it's as simple as that, with markers on your roof and showing the full top view. The markers are on the smaller view as well, but with full top, this view, it's a little bit easier to line up. So Omni-View has triggered views, and the trigger views, you've probably seen some of them already. Reversing is the obvious one, so you go into reverse and you get the reverse line. So I'll go into reverse, and you can see straight away the view's changed. The rear camera is now looking down and the guidelines have come on. So that's the rear trigger, and as we showed before, that can be full rear or 3D rear. So that's the rear trigger. I'll go back into drive, so the trigger will stop. There's a slight delay, but there you go, back into drive modes. Left trigger, so we're indicating left, and we can see the left and top camera, and you probably guessed this already. Right trigger is right turn, and the final triggered view is hazards. So I'll just come out of the indicator, and with the hazards it's full top. You can actually get to the full top view without pressing hazards, but that's what comes on automatically. So we've just arrived back at base, and the final benefit of Omni-View is it records all the time. So you can see the little record icon in the top. So when the system is on, it's recording. And as you've probably noticed, there's no engine running. So we've stopped, we've took the keys out of the ignition. The system is still on because when we install the system, we power it from the leisure battery and from the vehicle battery. So now it's on and recording, and if we're walking away from the vehicle, if we're at a campsite, a lay-by, a supermarket, an industrial estate, we can turn the monitor off independently, walk away from the motorhome, and it's still recording. So it's a security benefit of Omni-View 360. So this is a quick look at the camera installation, because our customers are concerned about how we route the cables, and the main thing is we route the cables so you don't see them. We're very lucky, the Camos system, the cameras can be installed anywhere, so we can put them anywhere on the outside because we calibrate the system afterwards. So we put them where it's best for your motorhome on the inside. So let's have a look. So the cable for this camera is behind this panel. So there's nothing to see here, and it runs from behind that panel and then drops down behind the fridge to the chassis. So there's no camera cable view at all. The opposite side camera, again, it's down in the panel that's already got cables in it for the plugs and things. On the back camera, we've come in, and that's actually our trunking underneath, and we've put this box on for the customers. This wasn't there before, the cables were exposed, not our cables, but when we're doing work, we tidy up any of the manufacturer's what we think is not great finishing. So we've made that box to cover up the cables which were there for the rear view camera, which was factory fit, which was just left exposed. So we've covered their cables up, and we've put our trunking underneath here and drops down to the chassis again. So this is the front camera. We've used the black camera. Some customers like it to be a bit more discreet. If you want it not to be discreet, we'll show you a white camera on a different vehicle. We've custom 3D printed a bracket for it, so it looks like it's factory fit. The cable runs up and round to the ECU, which is below the dash. So again, completely hidden cables. So this one is clearly a white camera. We've got 3 colour choices, white, silver and black. We've used the white on this motorhome so it stands out. So we do want people to know we've got a camera. Obviously, if that was black, it'd be a little bit more discreet. We hope you found that video useful. Thanks very much for watching right through to the end. And please get in touch if you'd like more information about Omni-View, our latest 360 camera system. Thank you, and please see the details below for more information.